Uncle Wallace, who is now 98 years old, has lived in Madeira since his birth in 1915. Every single day, he thinks about how grateful he is to be alive. In October 1943, Wallace and his crew encountered enemy fire and he was seriously injured. His story is compelling in that his aircraft managed to land safely after 3 of its 4 engines were shot out. Luckily, the nearby townspeople and his enemy captors provided the extensive medical care that he needed to survive. But I wondered if you had any memories at all what happened from the time you were hit until you landed as you were in the aircraft. Do you remember anything that happened in the aircraft during that time?
No, not particularly. I stayed in my seat and flew the plane. I didn't turn it to the co-pilot except occasionally. We only had 3 engines, and the time came that we were close to the ground, and had we headed across the ocean, we would have went into it. So we didn't go that way.
So when Bob Fortman, your co-pilot, landed the plane, were you still in the cockpit next to him in your seat?
Of course.
Okay. Were you conscious when the plane actually landed? Do you remember landing?
Yes.
The landing? Okay.
I chose to land there, and we landed on the water. It was a river or a creek, whatever, coming in. And it was that or land out in the ocean and go to the bottom.
Right.
That's all.
Now, after you landed, I understand that you were taken out and they sort of hid you out in the tall grassy reeds. When you were in Urk, one of the townspeople, one of the Dutch, was helping you as you were going through the town. And before you left the town of Urk and went onto the boat to go to Amsterdam, you had white gloves on from when you were flying the plane. And you took the gloves off and you gave them to this man. Does that sound familiar to you at all?
No.
Well, there's a man there who said you did that, and he loved them. And he kept them up. He ended up in a band, and he wore them in the band when he played. Do you remember anything about that?
No, not at all. I've heard stories about things that happened afterward. They took me up the creek to the little village. And out of the village up to an open area beside a building where me and my co-pilot, my tail pilot. And we lay down there, and everybody else, I told them to take off running, and they did.
The rest of your crew, you ordered them to leave?
That's correct.
And they followed your orders?
Yeah.